He left his home in Montreal, in the poor section of Montreal, to move to New York to work in the famous Brill building, which produced so many hits. I mean, Paul Simon was there, Carole King, Larry Goffin. You can walk into the building at any particular time and see a hitmaker, Neil Sedaka. But Andy Kim went from Montreal to New York to work with one particular man, Jeff Barry. As a lot of you know, Andy Kim had a lot of hits. He was also responsible for co-writing Sugar Sugar for the Archies. We'll have a clip on that later on. Co-wrote that with Jeff Barry, who was famous for the hits of the Brill building. Co-writing songs like Do Wah Diddy Diddy, The Do Run Run, Then He Kissed Me, Be My Baby, Chapel of Love, River Deep, Mountain High, and a lot more. But that's Jeff Barry. And when he got together with Andy Kim, special things happened. They created something. On Rock History Music.
The side story is that I had second cousins that I had never met in New Jersey. So they were an hour and maybe 20 minutes away. So it gave my mom and dad a little security that I was going to be in a hood of family. But I wasn't interested until I got to meet them. And they became like my second family, you know. But I was looking for Jeff Barry. Because all the songs that I loved, that I heard, you know, from Be My Baby to the Do Run Run and all of them, you know, it either said Phil Spector, Jeff Barry, Ellie Greenwich, or it said Jeff Barry, Ellie Greenwich, Phil Spector. And, you know, River Deep, Mountain High, all those great songs. And so I went to the Brill building. I went to the 9th floor. I asked to speak to Jeff. He was tied up. Didn't know when they could see me. And so I just sat there. I said, well, can I just sit here? And Bonnie was her name, because it was really Lieber and Stolder's offices, but they were all cubicles where, you know, everyone was writing. You heard music everywhere. And so then she said, well, he can give you like a few minutes. So I walked in with my guitar. And I sat down, and he was on the phone, and he was talking very softly. I had no idea what he was talking about. I don't even know what he looked like. And like 10 minutes went by, and 15 minutes went by, and he didn't look up. He was strictly looking at the dial tone on the phone and talking, whispering to someone. And I finally found out what it was about, but it's for another conversation between us. And I started thinking, well, maybe I'm in the wrong office. I have no idea who this guy is. She said he's Jeff Barry. And he wore cowboy boots, and his feet were on the desk, and he was leaning back. Oops, he got up. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
He got up and said, okay, you know, I don't have time. You got a couple of minutes, play me what you got. So I played him. How'd we ever get this way? And he said, okay, well, you know, I like this, I like that. He says, why don't you come back next week? And I said, well, you know, I've got to go back. My mom and dad want me to go back and all of this. And he said, well, when you come back to New York, you can get our numbers from Bonnie and all of this. And it was just kind of a cloud of stuff, or a storm of stuff. And he got up and he said, I got to go. And as I was reaching for the door, I put my guitar away. I think I said the sentence that saved my life. I said, excuse me, can I come with you? I've never been in a recording studio before. Because he mentioned I've got to go to studio. And he said, have you had lunch? I said, yeah. He said, well, I usually have a sandwich. And I'll give you half. So we went, got a sandwich. I was really hungry, but I nibbled on it, watched how he nibbled, I nibbled, and we went to a studio that was a hotel, but you went downstairs and it was Mirror Sound Studios. Um, and he kind of waved me off, like, okay, you can sit over there. Um, and he walked in, and there were musicians and things, and I stayed for a couple of seconds because there was no music coming. And I got up, and he saw me, and he kind of waved me down, like, you can stay longer if you want to. And I stayed, I don't know, a couple of more minutes, and then ran to the Brill building, went to the ninth floor, got the addresses and phone numbers and all of that stuff. And that's how it started. You know, I needed to get back to Montreal. I was still in high school. But my parents really didn't understand anything about that world. And I didn't understand it, but I was living it in increments. But nothing surprised me, though, because I think I've thought about it long and hard, and I think when you believe in something so hard, there are layers of dark curtains that are going to stop you because you don't understand how this works, but you see a destination. And I saw beyond the dark mirrors, and I saw me in the studio, and I saw me in front of a microphone. I saw it all. But now you've got to get there. You know, it's like you're in Montreal, and let's say you got to get to Plattsburgh. Well, you got to drive there. You got to, if it's raining, you got to be careful, all of that stuff. So I'm kind of amazed at my life. And I used to fly home once a week. I may have told you this last time, to have dinner with, my brothers and my mom and dad. And my mom would cry, and I'd leave at the end of dinner because I needed to be in New York. And I think she felt her third son slipping away a little bit. But there's a Khalil Gibran saying that you're a child and you come from your parents. I'm paraphrasing. But you belong to yourself. You don't belong to them. You belong to yourself. They are the bow and you are the arrow. And you will go where you go. And maybe I've always searched and saw things that helped me navigate my life without thinking about it.
You're the first guy that I've ever interviewed in 40 years, I think, that ever quoted or paraphrased Khalil Gibran. I used to give out the Prophet at Christmas. I used to give it to my friends.
It's a great book. It's a great book. And there's a history about my father and Khalil Gibran and my grandparents that I never met because, life was different back then. Your children come from you, but they don't belong to you is really the quote, So I don't know. I think sometimes I just kind of, just live in this bubble of me. But the bubble of me is still the kid that grew up in the tenements. We needed to get to the alleyway, so we would have to go down we had our names on broomsticks to shoo the critters away, And so I've always felt that the blessing that I received as far as my dream goes, I have felt that, God's angels have come and guided me throughout my life. And as it is in the tenements, we are all strangers, yet we help each other to see a better day. And I think that's always been kind of my purpose.
Jeff Barry, how did it go from watching him eating a sandwich, trying to be cool, balancing that Montreal, New York thing. How did that get to Sugar Sugar?
Well, there's that great motto in the Brill building. You're only as good as your last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So How Do We Ever Get This Way became a hit. I think we sold 800,000 units. We were in the teens in one of the trades that was Billboard, Cashbox, Record World, and R&R at the time, I think. I came back to New York and played Jeff the finished song. And what I didn't have was a chorus that I liked. So I had written several choruses. But when I was singing it to him, I didn't have a chorus. But I had the melody. Ba la 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 la, ba la 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 la, ba la 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 la. So he says, "Well, that's the chorus." And I was internally a little crushed because I had never heard a ba la 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 chorus. So I didn't know where this was going to lead. And I had just a certain amount of time, about a week or 10 days. And then I became a little bit of a shadow. He would go and he'd say, "You want to come?" and all of this. And so we were at the elevator and he gave me a piece of paper. And the piece of paper, and I get choked up about it. It was the day, the time of recording How Do We Ever Get This Way. He didn't tell me, he just wrote it down to make sure I got there. And that became the chorus. The follow-up single was a song called Shoot 'Em Up, Baby. The lyrics, if you were to read the lyrics, are about my mom and dad and their age difference. But it was released on the day Robert Kennedy got shot, and people thought that it was about drugs. And so from, I think, the Times it was banned on radio stations, except some radio stations in the South played it, and so I saw my career go down the tubes because I really loved the song and I loved the melody and all of that stuff.
News on Andy Kim's charity concerts in the description. He is coming to Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, and Edmonton, supporting a different cause in every city. Go to andykimmusic.com for more details. Remember, if you want to donate to the channel, there are links for PayPal at the very top of every video we release if you want to help us out. Any proceeds we get help us buy equipment and help us promote the channel. You can join our Patreon, get early access to all our videos. And we love it when you subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share them on social media, and comment on them as well. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take care of yourself.